Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category 5.tv newsroom. Apple has been ordered to remove some iPhone models from its stores in Germany over a patent dispute with chip giant Qualcomm. Windows 10 Home Edition will finally let you turn off automatic updates. AI could reduce the tech in your smartphone. And a hidden world in the NES Legend of Zelda was just uncovered 30 years later. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
Jeff Weston,
Yeah, man.
you're building a brand new, beautiful website,
What?
aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. Apple has been ordered to remove some iPhone models from its stores in Germany over a patent dispute with chip giant Qualcomm. A court ruling in Munich on December 20th found Apple had infringed patents on power-saving technology. On Thursday, Qualcomm paid a $1.3 billion bond, or billion euro bond, allowing the ban on iPhone 7 and 8 models to go ahead. The bond will fund damages awarded to Apple if the iPhone maker wins an appeal against the injunction. The German case is Qualcomm's third attempt at blocking the sale of iPhones. The California-based chip maker has made patent infringement claims against Apple in the U.S. and China already. The court ruling in Munich included the sale of iPhones by third-party sellers such as mobile phone operator shops and other retailers, as well as those sold in Apple's 15 branded outlets. However, Apple and some observers believe third-party sellers will be able to continue selling the iPhone models in question. The iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and iPhone XR models will still be available at Apple stores and from other retailers. When the initial judgment was announced in December, Apple said that it would appeal the decision. An Apple spokesman at the time said, "Qualcomm's campaign is a desperate attempt to distract from the real issues between our companies. Qualcomm insists on charging exorbitant fees based on the work they didn't do, and they're being investigated by governments all around the world for their behavior." Under German law, judgments become enforceable once the winner of the patent dispute posts bonds covering potential damages incurred by the losing party in case the judgment is overturned or amended on appeal. In early December, Qualcomm won an injunction against Apple that also banned the sale of some iPhone models in China, ranging from the iPhone 6s to the iPhone X. That ban was the result of a different dispute concerning software patents. However, Apple said all its iPhone models remained on sale in China following a software update from Apple and pending further legal ruling there.
Well, isn't that convenient? You can just push out an update.
Yeah, bam.
Don't know what you're talking about, Qualcomm.
We're fine. We're fine here.
Doesn't have what you said it had.
So, what I just can't get is, like, I know people who work for Apple, and a lot of their stuff is internally designed, built, like, you know, a friend I know, like,
Well,
his entire
but
team.
chips and technology can be from blueprints and from reverse
Fair enough.
engineering.
I guess. I don't know. I just...
And in this case, it's like bad blood between two companies who have worked together.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the thing with this one. I'm thinking they did have a relationship at one point. It's fallen apart. And now they're just, you know, they're nitpicky with each other. But the question becomes, at what point does the line between the coordinated efforts separate between, well, that I said that and therefore it's my idea, therefore you have to pay me? Like, I don't want to deal with patent infringement stuff or like, no thank you, way too technical.
Right. It feels like it's
Absolutely.
one of those things that will flip-flop. Like you'll win and then you'll lose on appeal and then you'll appeal that appeal and win again. Like it just feels like it's that sort of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why Germany? Is it just, was it a,
Specifically, I think because of the bond practice in Germany.
is that why?
The
Okay.
ability for a company to be able to pay to have them stop selling iPhones, you know?
But you think with all the, like, is Germany a massive company for iPhone sales?
Oh yeah, massive market. Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
like I would think, oh, you know,
and
file the challenge in Canada.
No,
But-
no. Well, because Germany, you think about Germany as a market, yeah, it's huge, but it also influences other like European
Right, okay, fair
countries,
enough.
right?
Yeah.
So you're really looking at it's like you're stabbing it in the heart there, and
Right,
and
okay.
you know there's going to be ripple effects if the appeal doesn't go through for Apple.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I'm not a legal guy. You're more in that end of things, but
Yeah,
that's
not when it
that's
comes to
my
patent
perspective.
stuff.
That's and I stay away from it because a lot of it is like he said, she said. Oh, I invented that.
Right.
Oh, I got the paper to show I did. Oh, well, mine is a little bit different. It's
Well,
just
yeah,
nutty.
just who has
nuts.
the original patent? That is,
Yeah.
if I were the judge, and I know nothing really about
Nikola
this,
Tesla,
but- right?
guaranteed.
Exactly. Well, that's just how it would go. I mean, you're really the rightful owner of the idea, and then you would
Yeah.
win, right? The kind of the
But
end.
when you have a device that has millions of ideas in it,
Right.
then it becomes a really tough situation. I'm not interested or into patent legalities and things, but
It's-
I can see that it could be very, very tough.
Right. On one hand, it kind of looks a bit nitpicky. On the other hand, it kind of looks like, well, just because you're a big company, you can't just take my ideas.
Sure.
See,
Right,
I
so-
think Qualcomm is just trying to get a handle on some market share.
Qualcomm has other contracts.
Well, sure they do.
Those contracts will continue
Yeah.
during the litigation.
But but why? Like, I feel like if they're going to be known as that company that goes out there and kind of legally tries to beat people up, people are going to eventually say, "I don't want to deal with you."
Except when you are also a company that is innovative and has the product that
Right.
Yeah,
the
fair enough.
industry is begging for.
Right, because we don't know if they're actually trying to beat them up or whether or not they're just trying to stand their ground and not be bulldozed.
Sure.
Right? Because it could be that.
But if I
also.
was a company that manufactures a particular component of a particular device, so use this Apple contract to build up my company, and now my company's established. Now, okay, you know what? We're not going to take anything from you. We've got all these other contracts we're working on.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
there are some exciting things coming down the wire. And we know that Apple, their entire release mentality is, let's hold back the features.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's cut off the features that we can have so that then we can push for the next generation.
That's right.
So that the next generation can come out and you have to buy that because that has that feature that we could have done 3 years ago, but we refused.
True.
So there's that
Tricky.
aspect of it as well.
Windows 10 Home Edition will finally let you turn off automatic updates. Since the initial release of Windows 10 back in 2015, users have continued to ask Microsoft to give them control over when and if they should install the latest Windows updates. Trying to avoid the disastrous Android-like fragmentation issues, Microsoft pushes monthly security and feature updates to every machine running Windows 10. But they have more than often resulted in compatibility issues and other minor bugs and problems, if not major issues. While the reasoning behind aggressively pushing updates might be legit, it isn't a user-friendly system when the consumer is scared of the latest updates breaking their machines. Windows 10 Pro users already have controls to pause Windows updates, but the settings have remained different for Windows 10 Home users up until now. The upcoming Windows 10 April 2019 update is slated to finally bring this control to Windows 10 Home users. Currently being tested by Windows insiders, the next version of Windows, codenamed 19H1, shows this change in its Windows update settings. When paused, Windows 10 won't install any new updates for 7 days. You can then either resume the updates when you are ready to install the update, or Windows will resume installing them itself once the 7-day period expires. If everything goes as planned, this setting should arrive to all Windows 10 home users when the next update arrives in April. While 7 days might not sound like enough time to some Windows 10 users, the fact is Microsoft wants to keep as many Windows 10 machines on the latest version as possible. That said, it would be nice if Microsoft would trust its users to have their own reasons for delaying or deferring certain updates, specifically since the company has quite a history of delivering broken updates.
And that's been growing too. I had it happen last night. I was uploading. I upload a lot of video, and I was uploading a show that has to be online. It's supposed to be online this morning, so I uploaded on Tuesday nights, and it uploads overnight. Well, I got up and saw my laptop, and Windows had rebooted during the upload. It got to 98% and was cut off because Windows had rebooted it. So I was just like, oh, I wish I could just turn off these updates. And so, yeah, 7 days sucks.
Yes.
Really? Like, just let me decide when I want to run my updates. I love that I can do sudo apt-get update.
Right.
Enter when I want to do it. On Linux. On Windows,
that's just
though,
not how Windows rolls. Like, that's just not it. I mean, they have now given you a 7-day grace period, and for them, that's generous.
So to be fair, that 7-day grace period would have helped me had I thought last night.
Right.
And if my laptop happened to have that feature, oh, well, I'm about to upload a video, I will pause updates for 7 days.
Right.
But I have to still remember to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, it resets itself after 7 days, and it keeps doing it and rebooting whenever it feels like
It's spectacularly bad for a company that when I shut down my computers at work and I see that my only option is update and shut down, it gives me anxiety. That's a bad.
Is it going to turn on the next day?
Right. So I shut down the computers today.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning I'm going to go in hoping everything fires up. Now, many times it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Right. So it's a gamble.
Yeah.
And it's scary. So if I could pause that and then know, okay, well, what if I make it so that it just updates at the end of my week, right? That way I at least have the whole weekend if
Plan
something...
for it.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of just these random, this is when we're doing it, updates.
Yeah.
See, for me, the Windows 10 updates suck because I have an older version of Photoshop on my computer. I think it's like 6 or 7 years old. Like, I haven't upgraded because I don't do it.
You don't
enough
want to pay for their cloud service.
Well, yeah, I don't want to
now that you
put
got
out
to
any
pay
more
a subscription fee.
But something has transpired over the years where now when Windows does an update, it wipes out my key.
No.
So it's legit software, but it wipes out the key. But the problem is...
You can't activate it. Their activation server's gone.
Right. And so now, in order to get it to work, I literally, every time Windows does an update, have to uninstall and reinstall Photoshop.
Oh my goodness.
Drives me nuts. I hate that Windows goes, we're going to make this happen. And 7 days, quite frankly, that's just a slap in the face. That's not...
But it would have helped me last night.
Right. It's better than nothing. 7 days would give me time to get to the end of the work week.
Yeah, it'll get you to your weekend, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So presumably, hopefully you don't have anything going on that weekend.
I was in the middle of running financial numbers and stuff last night, doing a bunch of accounting for a company I'm with, and I didn't notice the alert for the update. I'm in the middle of logging some stuff. It just goes through the update. I was like, no!
I know, it's
so annoying.
It's super sad. I know.
Yeah. It's not fun at all.
Post your comments below about Windows 10 updates, your experiences. Give us a thumbs up for liking this video. Don't give us a thumbs down for hating Microsoft updates, okay?
That's right.
It wasn't us.
Who likes Microsoft updates?
Bill.
Only
Bill.
the one.
Yeah. I'm talking about Bill Gates.
We know.
Not Bill Marshall.
Right.
I promise you,
known.
Bill Marshall despises Windows updates.
Right.
Bill Marshall's all over the world going, what?
No, we got one in the chat right now who's going, oh, yes, yes, not for them.
AI could reduce the tech in your smartphone. The Snapdragon 855 and XCX chips that Qualcomm announced at its Snapdragon Summit last month include big leaps in virtually every significant benchmark, such as CPU and GPU performance. The demonstrations made some of the strongest cases to date about how AI-based computations can enhance the smartphone experience beyond the photo enhancement that has been one of the leading manifestations to date. It begins with the most primal use for your smartphone: making voice calls. By using AI to identify the voice of the speaker, a phone would be able to virtually eliminate any background noise from a call, be it some reserved office chatter or a loud city street noise. This capability extended far beyond that of even today's best noise-canceling technology and into the realm of noise elimination. Another demonstration showed the ability to improve the focus and blur of a photo that had already been taken, or to change it after the fact. A third showed the ability to change the hair color on the fly of a woman swaying against a colorful background in a 60 FPS video, or to replace that background on the fly in a way that would typically require a skilled video editor using sophisticated software. But what may be even more impressive than how effective these techniques are is how efficient they are when it comes to hardware. Today's noise-canceling techniques, for example, use multiple microphones in order to capture and muffle distractions such as jet engine noises that have seeped into the cabin. In contrast, the AI-driven noise reduction demonstrated by Qualcomm needed only one microphone. Similarly, while the kind of depth sensing that enables tasks such as background blurring typically uses multiple cameras, the demonstration that Qualcomm gave used just one. Google, of course, is already creating some of these effects with the Pixel 3's sole rear camera. Apple is as well on the iPhone XR, although they claim the two-camera approach on its iPhone XS phones produces better results. All these applications highlight the ability of AI to recognize and isolate different kinds of media objects and then act on them to improve an experience. While the photo and video capabilities are far more visually compelling, the conversation noise elimination represents the kind of utility that stands to dramatically improve smartphone usage scenarios for a broad base of users in a transformative way. Of course, taking best advantage of them will only be possible with the latest premium smartphone chips, which will easily counteract the cost savings resulting by reducing the components.
It's interesting that that would come up because we're talking about, well, does Qualcomm have other irons in the fire, right?
Yes.
Oh, surely.
Yeah. AI phones.
This is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be maybe pricey because it's amazing, but
AI is so revolutionary when it comes to the capability of computing information.
Right.
Like we think of AI as like our Amazon Echo and whatever device, and maybe like robots and things like that. But AI as a technology is so fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fast.
Right. That noise elimination for voice phone calls, that to me would change so much.
Built into your phone.
Built into my phone.
No other need for Bluetooth headphones that make you look like a crazy person.
Right.
You know, whatever things that you're...
Don't need help to look like a crazy person.
You know, but it helps when you're walking around the grocery store saying, do we need bacon? Do we need bacon? I don't know. Do we need bacon? Of course we need bacon.
I call my mom every Wednesday. Now, I called her on my way into work today. I was talking to her while I was driving through my Bluetooth, and then I was going to get out of the car with my phone and walk into work while talking to her. It was windy out. So I said to her, Mom, I need to get off the phone because you're going to hate the sound of the wind blowing into the microphone.
Yep.
With the AI, I'm assuming it would just eliminate that blowing noise sound.
Potentially.
I would say.
Yeah.
My mom would be happy.
All this screaming in the background.
See, I do conference calls for work regularly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more annoying than somebody being in a car running between meetings who's joining for this call, but they forget to mute their phone.
Right.
And so then all you hear in the background is...
Exactly.
Because they're driving on the highway. And it's
Right.
like, could you mute your phones, please? Could you mute your phones, please? And they think they're muted.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they
if-
can't stop now to mute their phone because they're driving.
That's right. So
Yeah.
if this eliminates those kind of things, I'm all for it.
Exactly.
I just don't want to have to pay crazy amounts of money for it because I'm not rich.
Would that just change? Like we have our mute buttons, right?
Uh-huh.
So if we had that sort of AI, right, it would just automatically.
I think it's more akin to, have you ever been in a busy restaurant and there's lots and lots of noise and you're sitting across from your husband and somehow, by some miracle of nature, you're able to hear every word that he speaks.
right.
And in your perception, you don't even hear all the other stuff that's going on around you.
You're just
So AI takes kind of what is naturally available to us and turns it into a technological item that can now say, okay, I'm Sasha's phone.
right.
I know Sasha's voice. And so I'm going to hone in on that and I'm just going to defocus everything else. And Sasha's voice is all I'm going to hear.
Right.
right.
And somehow the AI is able to take that as a technology and put that into our telephones.
I'm okay with this.
I think that's pretty neat.
I'm suddenly going, ooh, hearing aids. Like, how cool
sure.
would it be for an AI-powered hearing aid that very quickly learns who is it that you're having the conversation with and wipes out every other sound except for
Boom.
that person?
yeah.
Boom. Automatically
Patent that one,
hones in the
Qualcomm. My
frequencies. Hones in on the frequencies, Jeff. There's unlimited
Yep.
capabilities here. And so when people, and sometimes I give you a hard time about conspiracy theories surrounding AI and surrounding the cloud
Sure.
and stuff. But
I'm a
the
cynical
fact
guy.
is, but the technology is driving in that direction where it is amazing the things we'll be able to
Absolutely
do.
it is.
Yes. What if a hearing aid could hear your voice and say, okay, that's in a frequency that Robbie has trouble hearing, so let's adjust it so that
Right.
Robbie can hear it perfectly. And let's also blank out all the noise in the restaurant. So now I'm able to hear you absolutely perfectly thanks to AI. Well, that little chip in my ear doesn't have an AI built into it. It needs to be able to connect to my phone through Bluetooth, and my phone connects out to the internet through the cloud and utilizes an amazing multi-billion-dollar computer network in order to do all that processing. So am I going to be afraid of that connectivity, or am I going to...
You're going to embrace it because
Absolutely
it's going to
embrace
enhance
that.
your life in so many ways.
And I have
That's
no-
my perspective.
Yeah,
So when
have
I give
no
you a
issue
hard
with-
time,
no, but
that's my perspective.
my issue when it comes to things like that is it always comes down to security and marketability. I don't want my need for some sort of amended access to be a marketed thing. I would rather just say, hey, we got this service for you because we're a nice company. Yes, you bought it, you paid into it. We don't want to use it for data purposes. That would make me a happy camper. And if that kind of stuff was more secure, I would have no issue with it. I love technology and the way it's going, and this is really cool. This like drives me.
Let's watch for it. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah. A hidden world in the NES Legend of Zelda was just uncovered 30 years later. One of the more remarkable things about the original Nintendo is that many of the console's more popular games, from Super Mario Bros. 3 to Tecmo Bowl, are still playable and thoroughly enjoyable in 2019. Sure, the 8-bit graphics can't hold a candle to what you'll find on the more modern-day consoles, but the wild success of Nintendo saw with the NES Classic underscores just how much fun many of these older games are. Of course, if we're talking about some of the greatest NES games of all time, there's no denying that The Legend of Zelda needs to be part of the discussion. The original Legend of Zelda, which was released all the way back in 1986, was such an iconic hit that it would go on to spawn well more than a dozen offshoots across a number of different consoles. Now, seeing as how the original Zelda game is more than 30 years old at this point, you'd be forgiven for thinking that every single part of the game had already been discovered and conquered. Alas, you'd be mistaken. In something of a fascinating story, a developer recently managed to access the game's Minus World, essentially another part of the game where developers could try out different gameplay dynamics. Naturally, developers implemented code to prevent players from accessing the game's Minus World, but a YouTuber with the handle Skelix managed to figure out a way around it. The gameplay on Zelda's Minus World is a bit buggy, though still playable, which shouldn't come as much of a surprise given that it wasn't intended to be playable in the first place. That notwithstanding, the video Skelix posted should be quite entertaining for fans of the original classic. You can watch the video at cat5.tv/Zelda.
That is so cool. Just mind-bending.
Yeah.
I love retro gaming, and to find out that there's something new.
I'm a huge Zelda fan. Always have. I mean,
There you go. So go figure it
my
out.
ring is like Zelda
Look at that.
logos.
Look at that.
Like,
Wow.
Huh.
It's etched with Zelda's triangular thing.
Very cool.
so like, I'm a huge Zelda fan. So this is like,
Cool. Give it a
Fancy,
go.
like,
Get
Easter
yourself
egg.
an Odroid Go.
Yeah.
Put Legend of Zelda NES Classic on it.
Be on those.
Yeah.
Like, is
Yeah.
it? Is it?
Yeah.
It's a,
They're
so it's a-
ROMs,
right, but is it a true port?
which
over,
you
or-
legitimately own.
I know, I do. But is it a port over so that it's every component of it? Or yeah, okay.
Yeah, ROM is a copy of the
You
the
too
ROM.
can play in the Minus World.
My son, just quickly thinking of retro gaming, because this reminded me, my son, who is 8 years old, said to me, he came down after a late night session on the Odroid Go, which had Nintendo Entertainment System on it, and he said, "I can't decide, Daddy." I'm like, "What is it, son?" He says, "Whether Paperboy is better on the Sega Genesis or the NES." And it's 2019, and I have never been so proud.
See, that's.
And he decided that Paperboy is better on the NES. He said
I agree.
it's better on the NES.
I agree, 100%.
We have a handheld Sega Genesis, which you reviewed on Try
Yes.
It, Buy It,
So
and we have an Odroid Go for NES Classic games.
Right.
So he plays both of them, and he has both of those versions of the game.
So cool.
How cool is that?
I love this.
All right, I've got to take a quick look. Sorry, I thought it was you. At the cryptocurrency market at this point, as of 1800 hours Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, according to CoinGecko. Things are kind of on the gain. We're up $123.18 US on Bitcoin, bringing us to $3,978.24 per coin. Litecoin is also up to $38.82 a coin, gaining $6.06. Ethereum is the only one that we're monitoring that's actually lost a little bit. It's down to 148.94 US. Monero is up to 52. Stellite, looking at the small guys, is up a little bit, 2.78 thousandths of a cent. And Turtle Coin is sitting at 1.4 thousandths of a cent. Remember, the cryptocurrency market never closes and is always volatile, so keep that in mind if you decide to trade.
Big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category 5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
And I'm Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Jeff West.